Hello, and thank you for deciding to have a quick look at this video. I'm finding myself posting some things from last year now because I'm just trying to do some voiceovers, so I don't know if this is going to be a success or not, but it's worth a go. In the early days I didn't do a lot of talking while the camera was on, so I've tried to remedy that of late, so there will be a lot more videos hopefully of me actually speaking while I'm driving and viewing things. These voiceovers are quite tricky because you have to sort of think what to say off the hoof, so I hope you can be patient and continue to watch my channel. I'm still very green about editing and all this voiceover stuff and things like that, so I will get better the more practice I get. Again, thank you, and there'll be a couple more conversations during this short video. I hope you can manage to see it till the end.
Sorry, I'm going to use your drive.
And continue to help me strive to become an elusive YouTuber. Lots and lots of channels now, so it's very competitive, very interesting, and there's something for everybody, so that's what I quite like about it. And I'm getting lots and lots of views now.
Right, where are we
not
off
so many
now?
Subscriptions, but that'll come with time. It's early days, so we'll carry on with this video. We're mooching about from Louth, heading back to Lincoln, going through some villages, some different country roads, encountering some different traffic, so we'll crack on.
Find that bastard. Stone Farm House. What's it look like? Does it show me?
Head northeast on Julian Bower towards London Road, B1520, then turn left onto Upgate.
Gotta get up the fucking hill, mate.
Take the next left onto Upgate, B1520.
You think they'd all chip in and get this bastard sorted out, wouldn't you? Fucking idiots.
In 300 yards, turn left onto South Street, B1200.
Thank you.
Take the second left onto South Street, B1200, then turn right onto Edward Street.
Able to speak freely with us, and we'll just trot through some of the issues there and what the implications of them are. Why don't I do some of that while we're waiting for Natasha to be ready, and I know lots of you are waiting to talk as well. That was a fairly muscular speech, wasn't it, by the Prime Minister? The language he used there on the Conservative record on immigration numbers. They drove it up deliberately. It was an experiment in open borders. Essentially, he said, because they were either too afraid to or couldn't be bothered doing the much harder work of developing a plan for skills in this country, developing people in this country, maintaining a health service that kept a workforce healthy in this country, much simpler to just hire on the cheap from abroad. That's
Turn right onto Edward Street, B1200.
He said we'll go on with what he
Got
called
to be
the hard
bonkers,
graft of
honestly.
fixing this. You could see actually in what he said, and the language he chose
ladies.
Continue on B1200 for 3/4 of a mile.
From Gordon Brown with Gillian Duffy out campaigning in which election it was now, but out campaigning and being told
Being an old market town, Louth has some very, very narrow roads, so you have to have your wits about you, especially at school leaving time. At the junction coming up, it narrows even more just on the right past this wall. There's normally traffic parked on the right as well, so you have to be careful for oncoming traffic as you're leaving the town. I said village, it's not. Louth is actually quite a thriving town. Yeah, just on the right here, where these houses are, there's normally lots of cars parked, so you have to just have a little bit of caution when you're coming up to them. People don't tend to see you till the last minute. So we'll move on a little bit and head out onto the, is it the 157, 158, just as you leave Louth, heading back towards Lincoln that way.
Lucky smugglers.
Take the second exit onto A157.
Aiming really at the kind of Gillian Duffy. Remember Gillian Duffy when she had that encounter with Gordon Brown all those years ago? I got the feeling that speech there, the language of that speech, the way it was pitched, is pitched at that kind of Labour voter, the more traditional Labour voter, more sort of socially conservative Labour voters. He talked about the Tory failure being evident, and that there were, I thought this was interesting, new expectations, and if even half of this is lived up to, then things will improve. And it's a big if, but even if half of this is lived up to, it will be a big change. I think we can talk to Natasha now. Natasha,
exit the roundabout onto A157.
Natasha, your impressions of that speech?
Good afternoon, Sheila. Yeah, really interesting speech from the Prime Minister that we just heard from in the last few minutes, announcing this new deal with Iraq, which essentially is going to clamp down on people smuggling upstream. The Prime Minister says he did confirm that we're going to actually be paying Iraq for this deal, which seems to be a little bit of the model that we're expecting to see replicated in some other deals, I think, across the world. I think some of the officials are exploring with other nations, but clearly the Prime Minister trying to put all of the blame today for these soaring net migration figures firmly at the thirds of the last Tory government, and he really pulled no punches, I think, in the words that he used to describe them, saying that they were really quite shocking, and they are. The last government, he said, has seen them quadruple rather, from around 186,000 a year net migration to nearly
Just going down the hill now into South Elkington. The video doesn't do justice to the hill, it is quite steep, and then we climb back out of South Elkington up onto the wall tops again, heading towards Thoresby. Headlights are coming on now, so just shows that the camera's quite good in low light. This is one of my early cameras, the GoPro 4 Hero 4 I think it was. That only recorded up to 1080p, so yeah, the quality is quite good. I've upgraded now to 9 and 10 plus a DJI 4, so everything is quality wise is increasing and getting better. The audios are quite better. Massive learning curve, we're still going at it. Not getting so much time to record now because doing less hours and less mooching about, so we'll spend a bit more time editing and perfecting the quality and the audio. Really enjoying it. Something I had trepidations about, but I'm really enjoying it now, and It's great to see how other people work, and then you can continue to improve your own editing skills.
Developing of young people and British workers who might want to shift career at 45 or whatever. That's at the very least, I think that's a decade's work or more, isn't it? Possibly even a generation of work. And for that reason, this is going to be a slow process.
Yeah, I think so. And I think Keir Starmer's words were actually quite stark and strong on this. He says, when the last government has failed you, this one will not. They drove up immigration numbers, we will get them back down. But again,
In a quarter of a mile, turn right.
Prime Minister on migration. Yeah, this is just a couple of months after we had Rishi Sunak promising that he was going to stop the boats. Keir Starmer has promised to end the use of hotels. This is coming from a guy that promised it in the general election campaign just a couple of months ago. All of these big things that he was going to do to crack down, smudge the gangs.
Take the next right.
The use of hotels. But actually, he was also one that promised he wasn't going to be making any of these sort of gimmicky like statements. That is a really, really, really big promise. I do think that if he can't do this, he does risk damaging
Continue for 1 mile.
not just the British public's faith in politicians, but generally faith in democracy. Keir Starmer saying today he won't put in an arbitrary cap on net migration. That's what some MPs, that's what the Conservative Party is saying they would like to do. And obviously, of course, the last 14 years under them,
Made investments that's designed and taken care of by experts. All in one example. And start investing in minutes. Say, yes, I invest with Lloyds Bank. Capital at risk, internet banking customers only. Accounts fees and charges apply.
Grab today's deal of the day now at discountdragon.co.uk. Big brands at incredible prices. 18 plus limited stock. Restrictions apply. See website for details.
Prepare to experience electric with Lotus. Be one of the first in the UK to get behind the wheel of the iconic Lotus Hyper GT Enea sports car or the Lotus Electra Hyper SUV at this exclusive 10-day in-store event. The future of electric motoring is on now, finishing Sunday the 1st of December with enhanced offers available in store. Reserve your space at lotuscars.com. Experience electric with Lotus.
Meet Sage Copilot, your new AI productivity assistant, helping you add even more value to clients. Copilot, create a 6-month forecast to share with my client. So, if you're an accountant like Charlotte, it could mean spending more time on what matters most,
Aaron.
like more face-to-face meetings with clients. Latte for you, Americano for me.
Oh, lovely.
Accountants could save 3 days a month on admin. Search Sage Copilot to get early access today. Sage, helping business flow.
Sheila Fogarty on LBC. Listen on your smart speaker. Just say, play LBC.
Some texts here on gender recognition certificates and the degree to which they should, could, might, shouldn't, change the
Hey, stop for a piss, mate. Okay, no.
How could a certificate change your sex? I cannot believe this is even being considered. Another one here from Eve. Great name for this discussion. We need an Adam next. Eve says, no, a gender recognition certificate should not erase biological sex. Women would be erased, well, men could too, just with different consequences. What's insane is how this nonsense is actually at the Supreme Court. If they side with the Scottish Government, they're basically saying biological sex now ceases to exist. We have seriously lost the plot in the West. I mean, a man has just won BBC Women's Footballer of the Year. Make it make sense, Sheila. Was it BBC Women's Footballer of the Year, or was it in an international thing? I'll have to double check that. I'll take your word for it for the moment. Make it make sense, Sheila. I can't make it make sense because it does
psychiatry system. But don't forget that the psychiatry system told us that we had to live as women and use women's spaces in order to get the medical treatment that we need to live our lives and to thrive as people. So it wasn't about trans women invading women's spaces. It's never been about that.
Some aspects.
It's about gaining access to transition services.
I think if you've got eyes in your head, you can see that some aspects of the activism around this is about invasion of women's spaces. I'm not saying yours is, I'm not saying Barbara's was, I'm not saying other people who might call are, but there is a battle royal happening here at one end of the spectrum, isn't there?
There is. It's certainly happening at one end. On the other end, you have transitioned women who are absolutely terrified to go to the toilet, absolutely don't know where to go. While we want to feel safe too. Do you know what I mean? We want to feel comfortable in our lives. And actually, not having any spaces to go to the toilet or to feel safe or be told to use men's spaces. And quite frankly, I'd be thrown out of men's spaces if I tried. And I have tried, and men have been, very quickly directing me to the ladies because, obviously, I don't look like a man anymore. I've transitioned, over 10 years ago. And trans women want trans women's spaces. We want safer spaces. We have specific needs in terms of sexual violence and domestic violence, where it would be inappropriate to send us to men's spaces. And I know because I've been to a men's space not just talk about sexual violence and the way that we cope and experience things. It's very different. Let me just finish because the argument is always that trans women are demanding these access to cis women's spaces. We're not. We just want to be safe. We feel unsafe in cis women's spaces. There's a hospital issue, for example.
Sorry, what do you feel unsafe about if you go to... Tell me how you feel unsafe in women's spaces.
Because there's always the threat of cis women making accusations, taking photographs. That's what we feel unsafe with, because we take, for example, I don't know if you remember, about a year and a half, 2 years ago, there was a trans woman who talked to a conservative Tory councillor in the toilet, and they were just in the general space washing their hands, talking about the dryers, and then all of a sudden this conservative woman with a lot of power is then
Filming.
No, she's not filming. She made out that this trans woman she was afraid that she'd be raped by her or something. Well, and that was a huge issue. We want to be
Fucking hell, man.
It's just washing our hands, isn't it? Yeah. I understand. Yeah.
And then lost it over that. And that's really, we want safe spaces. We want.
Can I speak now, Rebecca? Can I speak? Yeah. I understand what you've described there about aspects of feeling unsafe in women's spaces. I hear you. But and on the domestic violence and abuse thing, I don't think it's insurmountable. This is why I asked at the very beginning, and you are delivering, by the way. I asked at the very beginning for us to keep this civilised, calm, and rational, and sensible, and to hear each other, and that's what I want to do. On the domestic violence thing, do you understand that I understand that you would need a safe space to be.
Well, we're coming towards the end of this short video.
Abused or,
I've been following this Jaguar in front for quite a while now. He turns off as we get to Louth. He goes, I think he goes right, and we go left. He goes towards Mablethorpe, and we go towards
Driving to
Lincoln on the bypass. Just like to thank everybody for watching. If you managed to see it to the end, I'm going to continue to put some hard work into making the videos better viewing, a few points of interest, a few POVs. Really enjoying it. thank you very much again for watching. If you'd be so kind to like and subscribe and maybe make a few comments. If you do videos yourself, you can give me a few pointers, that would be fantastic. So until the next time, many thanks for watching, and onwards and upwards from Lincolnshire Wanderings.
You said about what you might need in your situation, and I don't believe it's insurmountable. But do you believe that? Answer my question, not with a question, but with an answer.
3 times, and I've said yes 3 times. And my response also is: do you believe that
Fucking awesome, absolutely awesome.
Specific needs to be addressed should also enjoy a similar and equitable space where we feel safe,
Yes, absolutely.
where we can talk about our issues,
Absolutely.
where we can talk about the problems of being a kind of a lower social caste. And
Well, I don't regard you in that way. But I've said the answer to, well, I don't. My answer to you is yes, 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 and yes. You should have access to those spaces. Yeah.
So what we should be
But
talking
where they're not the same spaces, isn't that okay?
what we should be talking about is providing equal spaces for both. But the discussion is always focused on the exclusion of trans women from everything.
Not for me.
From hospital.
Not for me.
It should be more directed towards how do we support transitioned women? How do we give them access to the spaces? We are twice as likely to be survivors of sexual violence, twice as likely to be survivors
Where's your
of
evidence of
domestic
that?
violence. You can Google it online. Honestly, there are so many references online that you can look at. If you look at Google Scholar and just pop in, I might actually have one that I can send to you. But this is and the fact that you don't know that the risks to trans women and girls of sexual violence and domestic violence, the fact that you don't know that it's an incredibly high.
No, it's not. It's not about me not knowing. It's about me not. It's about me not automatically accepting what you say to be true. I do that to everybody when I'm not certain of the facts that they are stating, and that's all that is. And I know that violence against women and girls. I know that violence against women and girls is extremely high the world over, and extremely high in this country. And
you can take that figure and double it for trans women.
well, I'll check that, Rebecca, because that's my job. But we agree that you should be respected. We agree that you should have the spaces that you need. My problem is that it shouldn't remove the spaces that women and girls already have, whether that's in sport or in a rape crisis centre.
Well, I'll tell you what the issue is that the issue is that the spaces are always shared. I mean, about 10 years ago, people started having issue with it. Now,
They weren't always shared.
I understand
They weren't
this.
always shared, Rebecca.
They